Thomas Jefferson made an interesting comment. I think perhaps one of the most profound things I ever heard anyone say. Thomas Jefferson was quoted as saying, "I cringe, I'm in fear when I remember that God is just," meaning that you can think whatever you wish, but the bottom line is that that divine presence in the universe that men have called God is very, very exacting. It has its own agenda. It has its own laws and rules and regulations, and it just really doesn't care what you think or how you view anything. It is the law in the universe. We call it God's law. We talk about the fact that we're told to pray for God's kingdom to come and his will to be done on earth as it is in heaven. What are we talking about? A kingdom in heaven? Most people are totally misunderstanding the implications of those words. Kingdom in heaven goes back to an ancient concept of astrotheology. There is a profound presence in the divine presence in the universe, as I said, that men have called God. But far too many people have misunderstood what this presence of God really represents. And consequently, going back to Thomas Jefferson's quote, I agree. I am in fear when I remember that God is just. Again, let me clarify that statement. The idea being is that God is just, or that divine principle in the universe is empowered to do its own thing. And it doesn't matter, as I said, how you view or what you might think or what your particular belief systems are. It doesn't matter. That divine presence in the universe is going to do its will. So, as one teacher said many years ago, since you can't stop God from doing something, and you can't influence him to make him do anything, the smart thing for you to do is just find out what the divine principles of the universe are and go along with it.
There was a problem when we approached 2012. The timelines converge on that point in time. At the end of 2012, the choices that we make become less and less consequential to the future. And eventually we're pushed into this bottleneck of time, no matter which choice we make. And that's important to the people that had access to Looking Glass, because what happened was people, very smart people, began to figure out that something big was coming up. Something that made it so all the possibilities of all the future scenarios of any choice, any possibility that was fed in and observed through the Looking Glass inherently ended up in the same future. And no decision, no possibility changed past a certain point. That's the big secret. All possible timelines lead to the same basic set of history in the future.
And what is that history to you? Did you know that, or did you find that out?
That is the big question. That is the big secret. That is what sends everybody that has all of the information, that knows everything, into a blind panic. The people that know everything about Looking Glass, that have gotten all the reports and all the information, the elites of the world, probably figured out that that was the end of the game, and nothing could be manipulated beyond that point. At a certain point, after they're done hearing the computer tell them this is what's going to happen over and over and over and over again, all they become focused on is, how do we fix it? What I do know is that I was called in and asked to solve this problem, this timeline contraction problem. And I eventually did my due diligence and did all the investigating, and basically only had one piece of information, and that was reinforcement. The computer's right. The timelines will contract down to some inevitable thing that you guys won't tell me about, so I can't help you. There is an inevitable event. It's been forecast, it's been predicted, it's been fed to us in a slop trough of what they want us to believe will happen. However, comma, they don't actually have control over what happens. They only have control over the reaction, and it seems that no matter what they try to do to cause their desired reaction, it's going to have an opposite effect. If I had to give it a name, I would say it's the awakening process.